And we are back at it again with another chess game. We are playing Superior right now. He is from Poland. Now, he's already got me in a bit of a tricky spot where and yeah, whenever they get the queens high up on the board, there's an easy way to kick this queen out, but I'm blanking on it off the top of my head. Regardless, though, if he takes the pawn, and we're forcing the queen to move, there's a good chance that he takes the pawn, and he's just offering me queen trade, and I will accept that. Something I've mentioned a lot is you need to know your situation. Now, I am a 644 ELO. As you know, I'm trying to get to 1,000. He's a 692. So this guy is a better player than me, at least, statistically. And then I'm also playing as black. So the white to black gap is maybe 6 or 7% swing. White probably wins 54%, black wins 46%, excluding draws, obviously, because there are a lot of those. But I'm the inferior player. He started out as white, so I'm fine trading out to get into kind of a draw type situation where even if we draw, I go up 2 points due to the nature of his ELO versus mine. But so far, pretty solid position for me. I've already castled, got a little nice structure going on here. He does have a knight, which his knight doesn't really have many options. And what I'd like to do is probably the next move. I'm going to move my knight up here and force his knight to move somewhere. If his knight goes here, I take. His knight is actually trapped pretty poorly right now. His best move with this knight would be his best move with the knight would actually be to take this pawn so he can get something and kind of hurt my structure because he's losing the knight regardless. Or another good okay, well that actually was a pretty solid move. I was gonna say if he moved this pawn, if I take, then he takes my rook. But that's a pretty solid move. The only thing that hurts him is since I'm able to check, he's not able to take. So it was a good thought by Supero from Poland. But I don't think he realized that I'm still able to. And luckily for me, this knight, a phenomenal setup here with the knight being defended by the pawn, gives this knight a lot of power, especially with his dark squared bishop. Okay, we gotta be careful here to not get too greedy. And yeah, let's just try to get this bishop involved. Oh, he got me. He got me good. And he evens the game up. So I was up 3 points of material. And he just evened it up with that move. And it's crazy, too, because I even mentioned that. I mentioned that 5 moves ago that if he moves the pawn up, my rook was open for the taking. And then he did it. So, good move by him. Pretty even gameplay so far. I'm up 1 point of material. But it's a pretty even. I've got the knight up. That's protected, which is big. If you're playing chess, this is one of the best things you can have is a knight specifically with all the different movements that they can do with a pawn protecting them far up on the board. I mean, it's pretty nice. And I'm going to try to get this bishop a little bit more involved. You know, he doesn't really have many squares to go to, but get the rook over here. And honestly, both of us, he can go there and I take. If he goes here, it's a little tricky. He might en passant me. If you and en passant, if you guys aren't familiar, is where if you push a pawn, they can. Even though we're side by side, he can take me because I passed him. Wonder if he does that, but we're both in kind of a closed off game right here. There's not much. We don't have many offensive attacking opportunities, either one of us. Yeah, he's got. Okay. I don't really understand the point of this move. But I'm gonna threaten the rook and force the rook to move. He can't move the rook here. He actually has to retreat the rook. Yeah, he has to retreat. He figured that out. And what we're gonna do is we are going to fork. We're gonna push the bishop here. He can't move this out of the way. Yeah, so it looks like we're gonna be able to take that and get the king. We're gonna take this, force the king here. And I puts him in a bit of a weird spot, being that. Oh, okay. It's an interesting way to do things, but yes, I will take. I presume he's going to take with the rook. If he's not taking with the rook, I don't really see the point of moving the rook over. Oh, wow. Okay. And I guess I'm just going to solidify my knight's activity on this square, on this square, on this square, on this square. And he's going to take and then take, and it opens his rook up to get back here, which. Yeah, but I mean, I think he thinks he can just take the rook for free, but then I take right back with my bishop. So I mean, it was a decent idea. Okay, well. Pretty even game, though. You know, he might have the slight advantage. He has a bishop. I have a bishop. I would usually say that a rook beats two knights, though, but my knight is in a pretty decent spot. Relatively even pawns. You know, we both lost these. All of our pawns from G on to A are both active. Okay, I don't totally know if that's threatening, but I'm gonna get all my pawns more support. Okay. And I presume he's trying to whip around. So I'm just gonna sort of move out of the way already. Okay. But his We're in such a bad spot for both of our light squared bishops because there's no movement for them. And he can't take either of my knights because both of my knights are protected on dark squares. And yeah, I mean he's gonna try to. I don't know. I presume he's gonna try to threaten this bishop, but then I just. Okay. Oh, that's a really interesting move because the only piece I can really move is this bishop, and I will move it and let him take. I guess he can't take because I take back with my knight, and he loses 2 points material. And this could be a tricky spot for me to be in where I can't move back, I can't move forward, but there isn't. He would need one thing to get me in some like a knight here. And unfortunately, we're going to have to move this knight back. Because what he wants me to do is the only square I can move the bishop to is here, and he's going to take it. So I do have to move a different piece. But this doesn't... And now he has to move his rook somewhere. And honestly, most likely, this game is probably going to end in a draw. I don't really see a way for... I definitely don't see a way for myself to break through this and get a... Okay. And I'm gonna move back here. I mean, if he takes it, that's cool. I take back with my knight. But as I was mentioning, he maybe has some small possibilities. Okay. I mean, he's still even with that check. If he gets up in here, I still take. But yeah, it really is a problem. It's tough to mate with just a rook because he can't get any of the pawns through. He can't get his king through. He can't get the bishop through. So he's just trying to mate with a rook, which isn't really possible. And I also don't really have any mating opportunities because I'm trying to mate through pawns with a knight, and it's just like that's not really going to happen. But we'll see. We'll see if he can. We'll see if he can get kind of crafty. And okay. I mean, I guess I'm just gonna. I don't know. He can't go here. He can't take. He can't go here. He can't go there. So he's gonna end up on one of these 4 squares. Okay. And yeah, okay. So he's threatening. He's threatening that pawn. And since he's threatening the pawn, we might as well get something. If we're gonna lose the pawn, we might as well get something back on our own terms, and take this pawn. Alrighty, so he takes it, and I'll take back. I'm seeing it if I push the bishop here and then can get my knight here. That doesn't work, but it's interesting. It's interesting for sure. And let's try to go for the win. You know, let's try to go for the win. The pawn takes. Yeah. Honestly, that was a pretty stupid move on my part. That move really did virtually nothing for me. Nothing. And he is to some degree turned the tide. He looks like he's moving offensively, you know, putting me in check, keeping me from really getting into any offense. And unfortunately for my pieces are pretty immobile. You know, this knight doesn't go anywhere useful. Really, I mean, absolutely. My knight's got some useless squares. This knight can't even go anywhere. I mean, this knight can't literally go anywhere, and this bishop gets taken everywhere he goes. So it's not ideal. And at this point, with how bleak it looks, probably hoping for a draw on my end. And yeah, I think he wanted to go here and then take, but it doesn't work because of my bishop. But yeah, I mean, look, a draw wins it. A draw gets me closer to 1,000 elo. And if he's going to repeat, okay, if he's going to repeat moves, as I mentioned, I'm fine with a draw. I don't know why he'd be fine with the draw. If I was him, I would be. Well, I actually don't know how. I mean, yeah. So he's at least getting. He's getting more offensive now. And that's a problem for me because I don't have a good way to. Well, I don't have a great way to keep this. I mean, this pawn can move here and I can take, but. Honestly, what he probably should do is he should push this pawn, let me take it, take with the rook, and then he's probably won at that point. You know, once he gets this, because these pieces over here can't do anything. They can't move at all. So this is the only real problem he has to deal with, and yeah, it looks like that's what he's getting ready to do. So that's interesting. Hmm. This is not looking good. This is not looking good, team. Really, the only thing, the main goal here is prevent him from getting a queen. If I can prevent him from getting a queen, then there is a decent chance of a stalemate. And a stalemate, for you that aren't familiar, that is a draw. Oh, excuse me. And Yep, and we're going to take, which I guess we've got to bite that bullet. And we might as well try to get into that end game where we just defend. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It is unfortunate for sure. And can we hang? That's the real question: is can we hang on to this bishop? We could. And now we're looking for the stalemate. We're looking for the stalemate. I think we might get it, man. I have a weird feeling that we're gonna luck into a stalemate here. Actually, he's taking a while. He's really computing his moves, so he's probably gonna find a way to get that queen. Yeah, gotta put yourself in a weird spot. Oh, and he wins it, And losing sucks, but let's check the game review and see where we went wrong.
You played some nice moves in that tough game. Let's look at a good
So,
find you had.
I was leading up until about the mid game, and I had 75% accuracy at 84%, and nothing crazy. I didn't have any blunders. I had one miss, 4 mistakes. And he had a lot of best moves, which is great.
Sorry that one didn't go your. You played some nice.
So let's see the move where.
Let's look at a good tactical. You won a knight for free.
So this position was where I was really dominating.
They moved. No sir. They moved your bishop. There. This move. They found a logical cap. That's you feed their knight. You had.
So even after losing the rook, and let's turn this guy off. I don't want to listen to him. But even after losing the rook, I was still up by a considerable margin. So let's see what move really went wrong. Okay, so that move took me from pretty comfortably winning to... So I should have moved that knight out of the way. And that inevitably became a big deal because I was never able to get that knight. And this move lost the advantage. So why did that move lose the advantage? Well, what would have been... Huh? Oh... When I was looking at this, I was originally thinking I move my king here and then he takes. But the reason why this works is because he yeah, okay. That makes sense. Alright, so then I go up there. And I'm actually still leading at this point. So where do we... I'm leading by a lot. He doesn't like that move. That's better. And now he takes the advantage. He didn't take the advantage until pretty far into this endgame, and that was a bad move. You've just allowed your pawn to be taken without a fight. Well, how should I have fought? Oh, okay. Okay. Fair enough. And at this point, there was not much. Alrighty. Well, stay tuned for more chess games.